goal to nil. We're looking at the standings after 9 match days in Group A. Bendel sit top with 23 points. Aimba comes second with 16 points. Akwa United third with 15 points. Plateau United fourth with 14 points. Same number of points as Remo Star sitting in fifth position with 14 points. Two Shooting Stars sixth with 10 points. Gombe United seventh with 7 points. Kuala United eighth with 6 points. Well, the bottom two is occupied by El Kanemi Warriors in the ninth position with 5 points. At Nasarawa United continue struggles in rock bottom in Group A with just 4 points. Well, in Group B, things are quite unchanged. Level Stars sit up with 19 points. Sunshine Stars second with 15 points. Abia Warriors third with 13 points. Same number of points as Rivers United, defending champions who have not played their last 3 games in the league due to continental assignment. They sit fourth with 13 points. Niger Tornadoes fifth, by the way, with 12 points. Doma sixth with 12 points. Enugu Rangers seventh with 9 points. Wiki Tourist eighth with 8 points. Dakar Football Club sit ninth with 7 points. Not a palatable season for them so far. And Bayelsa United sit rock bottom with 7 points. Right, so Raymond Ita, particularly, we're halfway through the season, 9 games so far. What do you make of the league this particular season?
Well, there's all to play for, especially as we've said, it's an abridged season. I looked at Group B and I found it funny. The fact that Rivers United haven't played 3 of the games owing to continental engagement means the other teams have a good chance to, open a wide gap on them, because clearly Rivers are the team to beat in that group. I wouldn't say accumulating 3 more games because of continental engagement would be an advantage for them. Sometimes we've seen coming back to play these games could have a huge stretch on the team, and eventually they flatter to the season.
The top 3 teams, Brydn, will qualify for the Super 6 playoffs. Looking at the first half of the season, you think we have those 6 teams yet?
Well, I think there are many games to go. Typically in football, things happen quite fast.
Give me 6 names you think will qualify for the Super 6.
Putting me in sport.
Yeah, it's intentional.
Quite hard, but I expect the likes of Rivers United to be part of that mix.
Right.
Aimba Football Club to be part of that mix from the other folks. Aqua United a little here, a little there. But Bendel Insurance for sure for me. They should be part of that mix. Maybe I can give you up to 6, but maybe 4 I can do that for you.
Raymond, give me 6, please.
Well, from Group A, in no particular order, Bendel, Akwa United, and Ayimba.
Right.
From the other group, I think Liberty Stars and Rivers United, for me, would get in the mix.
One more.
Well, it's tough to say. Let's see how it goes.
All right. That's interesting. Well, that's it for the NPFL. Let's travel to Mexico and talk about the Falcons. Well, not the best of starts for them. They've knocked on Revelation at the Revelation Cup tournament, Brydn. In your words and TV this morning, where they lost their 2nd straight game at the Revelations Cup tournament, losing to Mexico over the weekend. Linda Caicedo, remember her? She was the captain of the Colombian under-17 side that defeated the Flamingos at the under-17 Women's World Cup just a couple of months back, and she was the difference on the night for the Colombian national team as they got a victory against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Now, Raymond, I saw this game. And after the game, Coach Randy Wardrobe talking, and his words, he said it's a learning process, right? The same thing he said in the first game, the first loss against Mexico, same thing he's saying again in the second loss. It's a learning process. Now, it's now 7 consecutive defeats for the Super Falcons. How many more losses before they learn what they're trying to learn?
Oh, don't let the Chelsea fans hear you. The situation at Chelsea, but I found that result disappointing. When you lose 7 games on the bounce, for me, it's no more a learning process. Yes, of course, we know he has had to phase out a bulk of the old guards, and a good number of new faces are coming into the Super Falcons team, and you could argue he needs time. With the whole Abalo surrounding his appointment, his initial appointment, and the fact that the NFF has stuck to their guts by allowing him to remain in charge of this team, means the pressure is actually building up. But the Super Falcons have over the years achieved a lot of success, largely on the continent. It's about time we saw that replicated on the global stage, but they've always flattered to deceive. The last World Cup was one we thought they would go all the way, but that didn't happen. Yes, those friendlies are important. They're an opportunity for the coach or the manager to know his side, get in the girls that he knows can actually form a core of his team. But it begs the question for how long we would continue waiting until we see a proper team put out there.
Now, Brydn, last week we had this conversation, and then you asked about a realistic target for the Falcons, and you said it was going to go there and win it, particularly. But now they've lost 2 games. They've got just 1 more game, and likely they're not going to win the competition as things stand right now. They have one more invitational tournament in Turkey to play. All of this in preparations for the Women's World Cup. With this kind of performance, you think that they can go to Australia, New Zealand and do anything worthy of note?
Let me start by saying this, Mariz, it's embarrassing.
Well, should I give you words?
Maybe you should.
It's catastrophic. It's cataclysmic. It's devastating. Please go ahead.
These days I'm very scared of you.
You could say spotsrish.
Yeah. English language.
I better go now.
No, just stay.
Raymond, join it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing for me. Disappointing. Let me settle with that. Quite disappointing the way they're playing. Here's why. Mexico, not the biggest of names when it has to do with female football. Over the years, can't remember mentioning Mexico in a World Cup or a big tournament. Beating Nigeria, embarrassing. Now it's Colombia. I saw the last World Cup. Colombia didn't participate in that World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they've qualified for the World Cup before, exception of now. From South America, if you're talking about South American countries, then you're talking about Brazil. After Brazil, none other. Maybe Chile these days just trying to come up. So here's why it's that embarrassing. The man says they're learning from it. I wonder what they're learning from. But it's a pointer to what could happen at the World Cup. Not could. What will happen at the World Cup? Nigeria will be embarrassed at the World Cup, not being able to win any game, especially when in the group with Canada, Australia, and the rest. It could be quite difficult, but that's the embarrassment of it. When will the losing streak stop? That's a question from my end. I do not know, but I bet you, I do not know why they're going to participate in the next tournament.
Well, at this point, particularly, we would probably play the blame game, particularly for the national team. And of course, it will fall in the tables of the man Randy Wardrum. But so far, so good. You think that the players in camp have got the quality enough, not just Randy Wardrum's tactical prowess, but the quality of the players in the camp. You trust them?
Well, you look at the corporate players that he has invited. A bulk of them ply their trade in Europe. So you could argue, yes, they have the required experience to be in that team. But the selection process equally has been, questioned when Waldron released the list of players for this invitational tournament. There were notable omissions that many thought should have been in the team, but we can't go on crying over spilled milk. The players have been invited. When he says it's a learning process, I don't know if it meant for the World Cup or trying to build a team for the future. That's where we would have asked for better clarification. But he's already got in his team, and you and I can easily guess who would make up the 24-man squad or women's squad
for the World Cup.
For the World Cup. It's hard to say, but you could easily guess one or two picks that would definitely be in that starting lineup. And a good number of them have been on the pitch in the course of this tournament that we've seen. So it raises a question, who is going to lift the level of the players when they go out there to the World Cup? The jury's still out on that.
Oh, definitely.
Let me add this. I've heard Raymond talk about it. Well, let me leave Raymond with his piece. But here's the thing for me. This man has not built anything yet. In fact, the little building we had, he's just destroyed it. Never have I heard the Super Falcons play a series of friendly games, 7 now, without winning a game. It doesn't make sense. We're not building anything.
All right.
As far as I'm concerned, it could be time for Waldrum to go. Maybe let's pick the pieces and see what we can make of the team moving forward to the World Cup. We have decent players in that team, quality players playing all across Europe. But just as Chelsea, as Raymond mentioned earlier,
let's not talk about Chelsea. Well, I think it's sad, particularly because 7 games without a win, and you said it's a learning process. Even Raymond never had 7 carryovers. Well, Costa Rica will be Nigeria's last opponent at the Revelation Cup tournament. The Super Falcons will hope to save their face when they face the team later on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. All right, so before we talk about something else and take a few calls in, the Flying Eagles yesterday were in action in the first game of the Under-20 AFCON. They lost sadly to the young Teranga Lions of Senegal by a goal. The boys improved as the game developed but failed to have that cutting edge at the end of the day. And the likes of Nathaniel Wosu, the goalkeeper, was a key performer for the side, but sadly they had a striker, Amadou, get a red card in a particular game, and they ended Nigeria 0, Senegal 1. Well, they take on Egypt next on Wednesday before they play Mozambique later at the final group game. And we know that the last 4 teams in this competition would qualify for the World Cup. Oh, well, Brydn at 35 seconds. The Flying Eagles' first game, hit the panic button. Anything of concern or bad day in the office?
Well, not a panic button, but disappointing result. Because when you look at the talent in that squad, you expect them probably to get a result against Senegal. But on the other hand, not too bad, because when you consider one factor, the Senegalese side, 6 of the players in this team were the Chan champions. So it speaks volume about the quality they have. Also, studying the game, you realize that guy was injured in the course of that game, become a huge problem from a midfield point of view for the team. On the other hand, Nigeria always depending on the wing play. It reminds me of the Nations Cup. And when you have a team that understands that problem, they're always going to be that stumbling block for Nigeria. And probably from my standpoint, what I could say would be this. Maybe the coach have seen the problem from the first game, he'll learn from it and then improve from it. But it was disappointing, the loss. Senegal are a decent side, especially when you have 6 players from that team being champions in Chan.
All right, so we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Premier League and, of course, take your calls and reactions to the games you saw from over the weekend. It's the Football Fans Attack, and it's live, exclusive to Planet Radio 101.1 FM. There's Brydn, there's Remodita, there's Mariz. I'll be right back in a jiffy.
This is the season to share in, and this is the season to make yours. Visit Planet 101 FM sports page, like the page, drop a comment saying, I am game for Friday, plus the club you represent, and you could feature in one of our weekly Fans Friday attack. For more information on how you could be a part of it, join our daily football shows 3 to 4 p.m., Mondays through Fridays. Come ready to rep your club. The Football Fans Attack on Planet 101.1 FM. Every week, it's more football, more stars, more you.
Nothing unites the world like football. Join the football community here on Planet 101 FM, Uyo.
at some point they were able to come and get to win the game. Talk to us about Arsenal's character in that game.
I'll tell you what, Mary, 2, 3 or 4 seasons ago, Arsenal would definitely have lost that game. And that shows you just how well this team has matured under coach Mikel Arteta. And this season, it's clear for us to see that they're clearly going to go for the title all the way to the end of the season. After the defeat to City, you would have expected Arsenal to crumble, especially after going behind to Aston Villa twice. You know, I was listening to the match commentator and was saying, even if Arsenal got to go away with a point at the end of that game, there was City versus Nottingham Forest. We could talk about that later, and the fact that City eventually dropped points at Forest. But Arsenal needed to show character, and they did so. Odegaard missed what I thought would have been a winner, should have been a winner at that stage of the game. And at that point, you could have thought, well, let's settle for a draw. We still have that game in hand. But they needed to go all the way to the end of 90 minutes, and they did just that. Credit to Arteta as well. I think the changes he made at some point in the game were pretty crucial. I looked at Ben White, for instance. He had a lackluster performance. Bukayo Saka was playing with a knock. He decided not to take him off. And it was quite integral in the build-up to that third goal as well, because Jorginho's goal, yes, the shot, of course, came off goalkeeper Martinez and into the back of the net, but the build-up was all that mattered, and it involved an integral part of the team. But Martin Odegaard, despite missing that effort, still crucial in the build-up to that goal as well. And for me, it was about the manager urging the players not to bow to the pressure of the fact that the match could have easily ended in a draw and could have gone both ways. That's the maturity I think this Arsenal side have gotten, different to Arsenal's of previous.
So, Brydn, double-headed questions, particularly. First up, this Arsenal team, like Raymond talked about, the character and quality, the way they manage games right now is remarkable. Because right now, they don't, at the last minutes, they do not succumb to pressure. They still play as much as possible and get themselves over the line. Jorginho, Arsenal still far so good. What do you make of his performance? Right now, he's now a lot more forward-thinking. Has got more involvement in the attack for Arsenal. Look at the performance on Saturday. It was good from my standpoint to talk to us about Arsenal's character in games like Saturday's games and Jorginho's performance for Chelsea so far so good in the absence of Thomas Partey.
Well, let me start this one by saying this. When you have a manager who's hungry, you're always going to see the team play alongside. At some point in the game, it seems as if they were tired, sleeping away the point and not being able to get it. But you could see Arteta, who didn't give up on the sideline, still pressing around, typical Arteta, and it speaks volume. On the other side of the camp, on the bridge, we know that the manager doesn't pace around. That's always going to be the problem.
I'm worried, guys. Why do we have to bring Graham Potter and Chelsea to every conversation?
Well, I never mentioned him.
We're going London side.
Well, so much of being a bad example.
That's the situation. But here's it for me. When I looked at that game, the key feature for me was Aston Villa. At some point, you saw the game, Aston Villa settled. A draw was fair for them at some point, and they settled. That's the biggest problem. And it's not just about football, it's about life. When you just settle on things, it's okay, probably you can get it. Because at some point, they were making a lot of, putting Arsenal under that pressure. And it was quite difficult for Arsenal. But the moment they settled, one moment from Jorginho, fellow. Many Chelsea fans...
Talk to us about Jorginho.
Oh, call him mine. Never know when I was his father. But here's the thing. Jorginho, decent footballer always, no matter how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most generous moving forward.
Yeah.
But once in a while, you expect him to do this magic. Look, he's the current European Footballer of the Year. It wasn't a mistake. Quality player. And look at Chelsea. Let me go back there now. They barely can play from the midfield. There's no Jorginho. That's it for me. But for Arsenal, I think still, Arsenal were missing some key players in that game. At some point, probably, if Thomas Partey was available, they could have taken Aston Villa to the cleaners since in the game. On the other hand, too, a bit sloppy when it has to do with a striking point of view. Young Nketiah, I understand he's young,
but
quite wasteful.
Yeah, Jorginho, particularly, talking about Jorginho, the day he was signed by Arsenal, you were here, we talked about, that game, and then you said he was going to be integral for Arsenal and all of that. But looking at his performance in the absence of Thomas Partey, you think that he's going to become a courtier at Arsenal?
Well, they could. Arsenal is still in two competitions to play for in this campaign. That's the Europa League, which they would enter into from the round of 16 stages. So they clearly need all of these players available to them. It's not a time for us to say, should Partey start ahead of Jorginho? For all I know, Arteta could start both of them if he prefers to.
What do you make of his performance for Arsenal so far?
Well, he's been great. He's only started 2 games so far. And I know a lot of persons decided to take the stick out of him when Arsenal went 3 games on the bounce without winning. seen. I see that Jorginho actually played the entire departments for Arsenal in those games, but you could see the quality he has brought into the side. Yes, it's not good as an offensive player, but he knows how to thread those short balls to the attacking players. I saw the bond between him and Odegaard, and it looks like they've played together for years. It was so easy to pick out Odegaard in those small places, and that was what Arsenal were missing, even when you have a Thomas Partey in that team. So I think Jorginho's arrival at Arsenal could just be the difference in this title race. But then I have to talk quickly about Martinez's gimmicks. I think sometimes his sportsmanship could have cost Aston Villa because he had some unnecessary delays in the course of that game.
Got a yellow card
for that. That for me was unnecessary, and I think perhaps we saw what happened in the end of the game.
Well, the story is that Unai Emery's Aston Villa lost to Arsenal. Safe to say, good evening. Let's take your calls in right now. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. The phone lines are buzzing. But Brentford played 1-1 against Crystal Palace. Brighton lost to 2-0 by a goal to 0. Chelsea lost to Southampton. Lost to James Ward-Prowse by a goal to 0. Everton defeated Leeds United by a goal to 0. Nottingham Forest and City played a 1-1 draw. Bournemouth defeated Wolves by a goal to 0. Liverpool defeated Newcastle by 2 goals to 0. We'll talk about the other games after this batch of calls. Good afternoon, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mariz. Good afternoon, sport analyst in the studio.
All right, go ahead, welcome.
This is Pastor Chief Sylvester calling in from Uyo, a proud Manchester United fan. And Arizona, I am so happy the way my team is playing this time around. Everybody is in love with Manchester United, especially Rashford. We now have Atlan in Man United. That is when people were talking about Seaboy leaving Man U, that Man U will suffer, Man U will do that. I was not a believer of that. I used to tell them, where was Man U when Seaboy was flying straight in Real Madrid and Juventus? We were still surviving, and look at what we've been able to achieve.
All right, Chief Sylvester, let's talk to other callers.
All right, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, good
afternoon, the man.
Oh, the Victor. What, Victor?
If you have Clarence and Alex in the studio.
It's Brydn and Raymond Ita.
Yeah, Raymond Ita, and good afternoon, my other brothers. Arizona, what a great weekend it was in the world of football. It's a talking point everywhere you go that. What happened to Chelsea at the weekend was a very terrible news that the fan wasn't expecting. So the situation of Chelsea is getting worse every day. So I don't know who could have bring Chelsea out from this situation, but it's the honor of the club who could have told that.
All right.
We still wait for a positive turnaround. As for Boy United, let me say, though the league has gone for a break, they must prepare to use it and beat the team. And the other FC, for what happened to them, is not a good news. Let me also say, for Rivers United in Uyo are really nice with them. Let them keep on and
all right, Victor.
Let them win their 2 remaining matches.
Thank you.
Qualify to a knockout round. That's my thing.
Thank you very much, Victor. Good afternoon, Tom.
Mariz, good afternoon. Hi, Chief and others. Mariz, Chelsea need a good coach and a psychologist. I think trouble is the main problem of Chelsea. Even if he came into board, he fired on Kuti, fired Peter Cech and others. He brought in Graham Potter, the worst manager in Chelsea history. He took Chelsea from top 4 to bottom. Chelsea are making their fans sad. Graham Potter is not a big coach. Chelsea needs, irrespective that he did well at Brighton. Finally, Super Falcons back-to-back loss under coach Randrup. He seems a happy man for the loss. He said the Super Falcons are playing and getting better. Let him tell it to the best. Imagine a coach that lost 7 to 8 matches with the caliber of players at his disposal. It's a worrisome situation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, football fan. It's good to have you.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. It's Arizona, Raymond Ita and Brydn. Welcome.
Arizona,
yes.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
People are talking about, I don't want anybody to tackle Graham Potter. Graham Potter is the best coach that I ever happened to this.
All right.
Chelsea needs Graham Potter more than ever. I really think what Arsenal has already done on Saturday and Manchester United. But to mark my word, I'm Guardiola Junior.
I knew.
Arsenal will play Champions League next season. They will be in top position, which I said, I keep saying it. Manchester City will still maintain their position.
All right.
Arsenal will play Champions League next season.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I knew you were not a Chelsea fan.
I don't want anybody to sack Graham Potter.
All right. Thank you very much. Off your mic. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. Welcome, Senator.
What I just want to tell the last caller is that I don't know where they get those things. It is check about the computer that come out in England. Talk that Arsenal is going to win this league by 2 points. And we see what is happening now. When Gabriel come back, we are going to win almost 10 straight winning. And I don't know why you are saying that this and that. See the Man City that's going to be following us at the back. They are just coming down. And they thought that maybe Man U will still continue to win. What do we play with Man City? Did you say the position? 35, 35, 25. And because of the defensive error,
all right.
just got that too good.
All right.
Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Raymond, City played 1-1 against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Football is actually very crazy because City should comfortably get those kind of wins in the back. But if you don't take your chances, you pay dearly for it, right?
Yes, of course, but they created far enough chances to have sealed up that game. Ellen Ireland was culpable for equally missing a great opportunity. They should have seen them go on to claim all 3 points. But that's the beauty of the game. You beat Arsenal, who were previous leaders before Wednesday's game, and then you throw away a massive 2 points that should have been pivotal in the running. Or you could say it's still far off, but points like this could actually prove, crucial in deciding who gets to win the title at the end of the day. 2 points is slim, yes, but those was 2 big points missed by Manchester City.
Well, Brydn, I feel like City are in a little bit of a decline right now because they don't play with that urgency anymore. They've not been eruptive as we used to know them to be in the last 4 or 5 seasons. And talk to us about how that has affected your season, and talk to us too about Keylor Navas and how key this man has been for Forest since joining from PSG.
Well, let me use football terms. City are not in form, basically. They're just a mature organization that knows how to play football. So they're just finding themselves around it, trying to get the results one way or the other. I only really hope that the likes of Arsenal could add up the numbers as fast as possible. So we get to see the gap between City and Arsenal is not really happening, but disappointing from a City point of view. Because you look at it, everyone talks about it. When City gets on top of the log, it seems done and dusted. Yeah. But for the first time, one man, deadline signing it was for Nottingham Forest, Keylor Navas, came in from Paris Saint-Germain. First game, had 4 saves, man of the match performance, the one against Leeds United. Second game against City is the same story, man of the match performance, 5 saves, and now they pulled a draw against Manchester City. And it speaks volume, it doesn't get better than that. They've signed so many players, but so far for Nottingham Forest, this is the best signing this season, and it makes sense so far. I'm expecting Nottingham Forest to survive the relegation with Keylor Navas at the post. But that's the thing for me, it's quite decent, but City, quite decent.
So head back to the phone lines. I'm trying to buy more time so we don't talk more about Chelsea. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Mari can be serious.
Hello, Mari.
Welcome.
Mari. Right, where is Bright?
Bright is fine. Okay, talk to us. You're Chelsea. Come on, you're Chelsea.
I will talk to you.
Your Chelsea have been struggling. Potter.
That grand gutter which you keep that place. Nobody knows what he be in mind to Chelsea. I won't blame him. It's now that the fans will blame themselves and blame England that destroyed Chelsea. It's yesterday I remember Abramovich, no nonsense man, may God bless him anywhere he is. He can't tolerate this type of rubbish. Put this man in India. What is keeping him there? Tom Bull is American. They only know them in handball. They don't know them in football. He doesn't know how to manage football. That is the only problem that is here. Chelsea, if he doesn't take time, Chelsea will go relegation.
All right.
Coming to Arsenal match, well, they tried their best. They tried to win that game. And the Man U match, what is wrong?
Okay. 1 minute, 30 seconds. Please.
What is wrong in officiating? Why should they play every time 14 against 11?
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Oki. Right now, let's listen to the man of the moment, Graham Potter, talking after the game yesterday.
Low par in the first half, I felt. We were just second to things, and that's a disappointing thing. Reasons in terms of changes we had to make. So sometimes you lose a bit of fluidity, you lose a bit of cohesion. But nevertheless, our first half, we were disappointed.
All right, so the man of the moment, as I said, Graham Potter talking after the game. Yes, Saturday, Chelsea losing to Southampton by a goal to James Ward-Prowse scored a fantastically taken free kick to give Southampton a lead. Listen to the first half, and that was how things ended for Chelsea, losing to Southampton by a goal to nil rather. Let's head back to the phone lines, take a few calls before Raymond talks about Chelsea. Good afternoon, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Marizona. Good afternoon, Raymond. Good afternoon, Brydn.
Sounds like Famous Junior.
Yes, Famous Junior.
Right.
Well, Raymond, it has actually been a while. I'm happy that you have joined the Planet Famous Sport crew. And well, let me have my thing with you for the Chelsea situation. Well, when Thomas Tuchel was sacked, I thought that the man, because Body is going to appoint the man, Thomas Frank, who could be the coach of Brentford. But he went for Graham Potter. Look at Thomas Frank. He's just like Mikel Arteta. Anytime the team are done, that man will just stand up. He will be talking to his player, but the Graham Potter will just be standing, praying, and he will clap his hands. I don't know if he needs to watching.
All right, that's some violence there. Good afternoon, welcome. Football fan, good to have.
Hello. Good evening, Marizona and others.
All right, welcome.
Good evening. God bless you. This is Godwin from Yokora.
All right, Godwin, welcome.
Thank you, the Blues fan. One of the Blues fans. Please, Marizona, I want to say that it's quite obvious that Chelsea, the talk of the town. People have been making mockery of Chelsea. I think this coach, Graham Potter, is not doing well. He can't coach Chelsea. Look at, imagine playing 15 matches and, winning only 2. It's so sad. He doesn't deserve to be in Chelsea. Please, I'm looking for a situation of sacking him. Let him go, please.
All right.
We are tired of him. That's my take.
Thank you very much. Well, Raymond, Chelsea, they've dropped 6 points against the bottom place team this season. 2 wins in the opening in their last 15 games. Now, they remind me of John Millon's song, All Time Low.
Wait, though. I agree with the last caller. Chelsea's the talk of town, albeit for the wrong reasons. And I love when Mikel Arteta used to say, doesn't matter what you do, you just have to win matches. If you're not winning matches, regardless what you do on the pitch or off the pitch, it doesn't really matter. So right now, Chelsea not just winning matches, and that's a problem. Yes,
where do you stand on Graham Potter?
Well, I like to re-echo sentiments of those who say he needs just one pre-season to address the Herculean task that has been laid before him. And that's a barrage of signings that I'm very sure he never welcomed 100%. He already had to inherit a team left behind by Thomas Tuchel following the sack of the German. And that was a big tax in itself. Perhaps Chelsea fans have gotten used to the fact that you sack a manager mid-season, the new one comes in and wins a trophy, sometimes even going as far as getting a Champions League winners medal. So they perhaps thought Graham Potter would do the same. I mean, it's not going to be a roller coaster every time. But for me, I think he needs just one preseason. After that, we can judge him.
Brydn, one preseason for Graham Potter. Now, here's the thing.
Raise an answer.
Now, you want to give
he's not wishing Chelsea well.
No. Preseason. Probably you've seen one or two things in the season that you'd say, well, if this man has got some more time to blend with the players, there's a hope. Now, you look at Chelsea. Is there anything Graham Potter has offered exceptional at Chelsea that wants him to be given a preseason?
Ryan shouldn't be asking me this question. He needed a winger. They're giving you Felix.
Yeah.
He needed Mikel Modric. They're giving it to him. What did he need?
Enzo Fernandez.
Chile, they're giving it to him. He said, we needed a fantastic midfielder that can through the pass. Enzo Fernandez has gotten it. What does he need? He needs another coach to add to him.
But
he's gotten everything.
There's a conversation, Brydn. Chelsea have struggled to score goals this season. They've created chances, but they don't score goals.
The manager doesn't know how to tell them.
Should that also be on Potter's table?
Of course, it is. Mari, I always talk about it in football. Here's how it works. You don't have a good structure from the midfield. Attackers can score goal. Number one problem for Chelsea is the midfield. They don't have a strong midfield right now. The only hope, defensive midfielder. They don't have a defensive midfielder. I watched a game against Southampton. You're going forward, but what happens when your opponent is attacking you? Do you sustain the tempo? Do you block that momentum and let the ball go backward towards them? they're not able to do that, and that's the sequence for Chelsea. The only hope would be Zakaria. But the problem is Zakaria is often injured.
Yeah, injury
I
problem.
will hope. But I can find a solution for Chelsea, Arizona. It's not rocket science.
Talk to me.
Here's you know I've got that thing, man.
Yeah, I know.
But here's the thing. It's a good nose team. Come on.
Go what? Yeah,
But
definitely.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Chelsea cannot afford to play two midfielders. It will never work. Yeah, it can work. They have to double it, make it 3. Is that double? I didn't make it 3.
Yeah.
Oh, you master of English.
Triple pivots. Go ahead, Brydn.
Mari. So that's what they ought to do. That's it. Because you don't have a defensive midfield.
Give me names.
Come on. Kovacic will be part of it. Zakaria. And come on. The golden boy, Enzo. That's the midfield for Chelsea. They start winning games. Attackers will start scoring. Because it's a sequence. When you're attacking...
So Brydn, should you have an N'Golo Kante fit and ready to play? Would you go with that trio?
If N'Golo is fit, come on. N'Golo is a captain. You know that.
But then if you have an N'Golo Kante fit, then you cannot have that 3 trio play at once. Even if he has to replace one of the 3 that you mentioned.
Yeah, you can.
Where did creativity come from? If you're playing Kovacic, N'Golo Kante, and Enzo Fernandez.
No. Have a midfield fast. Have a good midfield fast.
So what should be priority for you, Brydn? What should be priority for you, Brydn, right now?
Got nice attackers, decent attackers. They have some decent defenders. The problem is the middle. The middle cannot. So that's when they say hold the midfield. The midfielders cannot hold it. So what's the problem?
So what happens to carving out a system that holds midfield and also creates chances for Chelsea?
It will naturally take place.
I'll answer that simply, and it doesn't look like I'm giving Mikel Arteta a heads up ahead of.
Well, you just go.
But then, look at what is done with Granit Xhaka. I mean, over the years, Granit Xhaka has been a revelation this season because he's just done a simple job of just pushing him forward a bit. That's all. What we're seeing now with Chelsea is signing too many players in similar roles. It creates a problem. So when you say Potter doesn't have the answers to the question, why give him 9 players in one transfer window? It's an equivalent tax no manager in the world can manage at the moment. That's why I'll go back to my previous statement by saying all he needs is just one pre-season. Look at the teams who went for a pre-season before the World Cup. Liverpool, yes, they struggled post-World Cup, but they're gradually finding their feet again because Jurgen Klopp had a chance to take his players for a short pre-season. That's the magic there. He needs to know his players. He doesn't know his players. He inherited a team from Thomas Tuchel, and then he had 9 more added to that lot. That's a problem.
All right, I gotta make a comment here.
After this call, Brydn. After this call. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, my Zona.
Go ahead. Right.
I want to say that a coach that is not good is a coach that is not good to me. If you give him, even if they will give Potter 2 years, he will not be able to perform. There are some coaches that come on in short game and you see them 2-3 matches, they fix everything and you see the team beginning to. It's a matter of having a good coach, a good and experienced coach. So Potter does not suit Chelsea's style of play. So he should rest. Yes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Name and location.
Thank you. My name is Rachiv. I'm calling from Uyo. I'm a United faithful. I want to give thumbs up to Eric Ten Hag for bringing a different style of play. That tempo we needed for some time. I give thumbs up to him and Rashford, who is scoring here and there nowadays. I want to talk about Chelsea a little bit. I think Potter is a short of idea on how to handle the players in his quarters until he's stuck. And a coach that knows how to manage the players comes. Chelsea will still lament. That's what the things are having.
Thank you very much. Let's head to Facebook and take some comments from there. All right, so from the live feed, God's Agreement, Tom says, hello guys, Manchester United are unstoppable for trophies this season. Glory, glory. Jeremiah Kerete says, please, people should stop comparing Arsenal with Chelsea. We are a winning club with the culture and mentality of winning trophies at least once every 2 seasons. Arsenal don't have the winning mentality and are not ambitious as Chelsea. We're not the same caliber of clubs. Arsenal is a club with the mentality of making profits from sales of players, but not winning trophies. Graham Potter must go, by the way. Papisi says, Mariz, Chelsea bought Enzo for £120 million instead of buying Jorginho for 200 now. I want to congratulate my team for bouncing back. I hope they continue on that momentum. Ubon Umo says, good afternoon, crew. I pity for my team, Chelsea. I'm tired of them. Ubon Umo. Well, from the sports page, let's also take comments from there before we wrap up with calls. 15 massive comments from the sports page. Victor says, I'm so happy with my team United, but we should take this week very serious because all our winning runs matters this week. Ten Hag is cooking too, but he's cooking bitterly soup with fufu. Sarah Giant says, boss, Rashford, nothing gonna stop him from receiving Player of the Month of February for consecutive third time. Jamesy Joshua says, it was a wonderful weekend of drama seeing Chelsea losing to Southampton. I thank my Manchester United for the awesome result they put against Leicester City. Njimeli Dan says, good afternoon, sports family. Disappointed with my team Chelsea. I did not see my team Chelsea reaching the top four the way they are playing. Up Chelsea. Commenting from Cameroon. Thank you very much. Soles Joseph says, please will never be back from injury. Please, I really want him because I'm a PSG fan. He meant to say. Samelino Sanford says, Quanita and United are giving me joy. And Xavier Chibong says, I want to happily congratulate my lovely Arsenal team for that comeback and dramatic victory at the Villa Park over the weekend. And so Marcus Rashford, that guy is in hot form. Big ups to him. Ability Akman says, I want to congratulate my loving team, Man United, for winning their game. I believe Rashford, he cannot just stop scoring. Mari, did you know that Hadland scores more than the old Chelsea this season? I was talking about like Chelsea, maybe his ambition is to take us to the championship. Well, before we take few calls in, guys, I saw a tweet yesterday of Brydn and Raymond, and here's a tweet. He's a Chelsea fan, and one key feature of Todd Boehly's era has been patience. Be patient. Now, the tweet says, and I quote, should Chelsea bring back Frank Lampard? If patience is the approach, Lampard could be a better manager in the long run than Potter. He has proven that can get the best out of young players. Raymond, with you first. Bring back Frank Lampard if patience is the trajectory for Chelsea right now.
I wouldn't necessarily say bring back Frank Lampard, but the question answers itself. What does Chelsea really want? They've had great success over the years, especially during the Roman Abramovich era. What Chelsea wants now is to identify its culture and a style of play. That's something the club doesn't have. That's something Roman wanted. That's something Todd Boehly wanted.
Brydn, who is in charge of...
Says allow Potter to go on with whatever plans.
Brydn, who is in charge of creating an identity for a football club?
Coach, look, you asked about bringing Frank Lampard to do what?
It's a fan.
What's the difference
between gaming?
What's the difference between Lampard and Graham Potter?
Who's a better coach?
One has a white hair, one has a black.
Mari, come on, we shouldn't be doing this. Need a proper coach.
Frank Lampard with a transfer ban took Chelsea to the top four, right?
But a decent side, he couldn't even do better. Manchester United came from eighth position to top him.
All right.
What are you talking about?
Well, that's it for the show, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Raymond. It's good to have you in the show, and thank you, Brydn. Yeah. That comes through with the news on the hour by 4 o'clock, and from there we'll have Planet Rush show right here, Planet Radio 101.1 FM. So do you want to enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast? My name is Mariz. I had everybody here. I'm very looking for company, and together we out. Ciao, ciao.